Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. So today I'm going to be answering a subscriber question on why I do not use a rounding hammer and my thoughts on that. So I'll go ahead and use my thoughts on that. If you clicked on the title of why I don't use a rounding hammer and you're here to contradict or whatever, it's fine. I'm going to simply render my opinion. So my opinion on a rounding hammer is a tool like any other tool in the shop. And you should not be limited by your tooling. You should only be limited by your experience or your technical know-how, if you will, or your ability to do something, and not just by your tooling. I find that guys who stick with nothing but rounding hammers limit themselves to a particular kind of ironwork to be achieved, and this styling can be seen throughout a lot of Pinterest posts and things of that nature, Facebook posts, so on and so forth, of a rounding hammer. Some people say, well, it doesn't matter, but different kind of hammers in different kind of smithing styles leave different kind of finishes in the end product, and they also because the way that you have to take and use the hammer itself. So with a rounding hammer, I see a lot of dancing and playing around with the hammer in your hand and trying to find a round die and a flat die and dancing and jiggling and doing all this stuff. And to me, that's all nonsense. Your material's cooling down. You're thinking about it. You should have had it thought about before you brought it out of the fire and had a clear direction of what you were wanting to do. So that's one thing that kind of, I don't know, people are always trying to index which die they're using. That's one reason I do not like rounding hammers myself personally. You'll notice, before y'all call it out, here's a little rounding hammer that I had forged myself. I went ahead and made it. It's squared. It's not that, whatever they would call it, the deflated ball or the collapsed ball type rounding hammer where everything is round. As I find that the rounded face or something that has a round face is the least handy in my type of work that I do. At least that's what I have found. It's something I'm not comfortable with and something I don't use. But I made this hammer, the whole purpose of this hammer to get this curvature here was I made a set of handles, skillet handles is what I was working on. It was like a crepe pan of some sort. And I needed something to put a chamfer on the inside, a very subtle chamfer on the inside edge of that hammer. And so therefore I knocked together this little hammer real quick. I think I only took maybe an hour and a half to make this. And and then obviously the hardening and tempering, that was a different step. So maybe about 2.5 hours or so in total is all I spent making on this by the time I hung it on the handle, everything like that. So, I made this for a very specific purpose. And now a rounding hammer, a blacksmith's rounding hammer, or farrier's turning hammer, if you will, essentially the same tool, a little different styling depending on who you buy it from. They can be a great universal hammer for some folks. But I say open up the doors of possibilities and opportunities to using other style hammers and use what works for you the best. I personally do not get into the most recent fad in blacksmithing, which is the rounding hammer. I don't get into it, not interested in the rounding hammer as a main smithing hammer. Now, however, I have picked up along the way from other smiths and guys that I particularly look up to, different stylings of hammers. So, for instance, this hammer, the reason why I pretty much designed this hammer the way it was is so this way I can get real close into a shoulder, like so, with the hammer. It can be flat and square into a corner of a shoulder. Likewise, this peen, it juts away from the shoulder a little bit, but I can usually peen right down in the nook of something. And that's why I designed the hammer the way I did. It's nice, it's square, and everything else. So I kind of picked up this squareness effect from Tom Latney. Now, this peen, it's a flat, if you notice, it's just a square flat peen. Well, this square flat peen that I use on my main forging hammer, I use this every day. This hammer's a small hammer, it's 1 3/4 pounds, and that's why I can use it all day, every day, is because it's a lighter hammer. This square face to it, I picked this up from Peter Ross. I took a class with Peter Ross doing a crab lock. And he had mentioned that in his theory of it, that this broad flat face helps spread the material more evenly versus like a peen, one moment, that has a nice round to it, a crown, a sharp peen. A sharp peen has a tendency to bite into the material or sever the material more than spread the material. So it displaces the material, yes, but it has more of a bite to it. As where the flat peen tends to spread more evenly. And in my work, I have found that to be mostly true. So, and that's the way I work with it now, and that's the way I designed this hammer to be, to incorporate those things. The things that I enjoy doing the most, I enjoy doing lock work, I enjoy making other tools, things of that nature. So it fits the type of work that I do. A big old 6-pound rounding hammer would not do it for me. I've tried using them in the past. I've tried using several guys' hammers that were rounding hammers, and it just never took. I never enjoyed them at all. So, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What are your favorite hammers to use and why? Put it down in the comment section down below. And it's just, it's good to get a good conversation about this started to, understand different points of views around the same subject. Why you like using a particular shaped hammer. And I would love to take and hear those stories. Can't say that I will probably respond to any of the comments in the comment section, as I am a fairly busy guy, and that can get pretty long-winded. But, put it down in the comment section. Talk to each other. Why you like what you like, and why you don't what you don't. But anyways, that's it for today. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, you may want to hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell. I put out 2 new videos every day, and I hope that it will be a blessing to you. So God bless everyone out there, and we'll catch you on the next one.